Anything else you can tell me about the little boy?
He was trying to help us.
To this random little kid running around magical forest doing good, popping up in people's dreams and...
I don't think he really was a little boy.
Yeah, I think I agree here with Sarah. The boy in white is probably not a boy. He's probably not even human. He is something that's just taken a shape of this boy in white clothing. So who is he really? What is his goal? Is he there to help, or is he there for more selfish reasons? And why is he changing suddenly? I mean, is it possible that he's somehow connected to the Nkui children? He's from the same period? We do have the Miranda drawing of the 7 children on the merry-go-round, and if we compare this to the image of the Nkui children being sacrificed, it's kinda similar, and even similar to the symbol that they were seeing. But in the drawing, we have also a child number 8. Is it possible this is the boy in white, and he somehow escaped the sacrifice? But you know what, if we compare their clothing, the Nkui children wearing the union suit and some older clothes, which is 18th and 19th centuries, but the boy in white clothing is very similar to the beginning of the previous era. Now at this point of the video you're starting to realize that this guy knows a thing or two about From, so I actually want to invite you to join me on a short and effective recap of every moment and every mention of the boy in white since season 1. We'll go through them all and start to gather information, and then we will see if this information will actually allow us to build some grounded theory. Who is he? Like, what is his deal? Because in the previous episode, in the last one, he was kind of very annoying. He just appeared, didn't say anything, and disappeared again. So is he there to help, or is he there to hurt? Let's start.
What are you looking at?
Nothing.
First time we're seeing the boy in white, it's in the end of episode 2 season 1. Ethan is looking outside of the window and he's seen the boy in white telling him to be quiet and not tell anybody that he's actually seen him. And when Julie is asking him, who are you looking at, he's saying nobody.
What are you looking at?
Nothing.
So Ethan complies and actually not telling on his new friend, even to his closed ones, his sister. So I think this is the first break in their relationship, even though later we're gonna see it's not gonna be that developed like between him and Victor. Now in the next episode we see a direct continuation of this scene, which is kinda weird. For the most part, boy in white is standing like a freaking psychopath, no emotion on his face, and only when Ethan is waving at him, he's actually waking up, smiling and waving back. The rest of the time he's just standing like he's about to kill somebody, which is kinda scary. Now it actually gets more interesting when Ethan's going to talk to Victor, and he's asking him about what he's doing. He's trying to build some new relationship, find new friends, and as soon as he mentions the boy in white, this is when he gets Victor's attention.
Have you seen the boy who lives out here?
What do you mean lives out here?
He's always walking around out here. We're friends.
You see that friend of yours? Tell him Victor says hello.
Later that day, Victor is joining Ethan in the diner and he's showing him one of his drawings, and Ethan confirms, yes, this is the boy in white, and Victor realizes that he was not imagining him.
That's him.
That means he was real.
And as we know, Victor is very unreliable with his memory. He's always thinking it wasn't real, and it was real, dude. You should start accepting that everything you remember was real. But now he actually gets a confirmation. The boy in white is 100% real. And once again, later that day, Victor is taking Ethan on a quest in the forest. They're going to look for the boy in white. During this quest, Ethan is telling Victor that the first time he has seen the boy in white was right before the 2 cars appeared.
The first time I saw him was right before the 2 cars came. Not your 2 cars, the first 2 cars.
Not their 2 cars, but the first 2 cars, when Victor was a little bit older than Ethan. He was about 12 or 13. So it's kind of already creates us a very interesting information, because the boy in white appeared here after the 2 cars, and in Victor's cycle of the story, it was a little bit before. Now once again, as usual, disclaimer, as soon as we talk about Victor, we cannot really take his words at face value. He can remember things very differently compared to what actually happened, because there's a lot of traumas in this poor head. So it is possible that the boy in white in Victor's cycle also arrived after the 2 cars, because Victor's is Miranda's son, and the story starts to unveil and unfold as soon as the 2 cars arrive. At least we can come to this conclusion from most of the TV shows so far. So it is possible that there was Miranda and there was another car, and Victor and Ethan in this situation managed to do something that nobody else can. They actually tail the boy in white. They follow him, and it kind of looks looks like it happens without him actually realizing it, which once again I'm gonna be a little bit doubtful about this moment, because the boy in white most of the times can appear and disappear, and he is aware of almost everything that happens in this place. So it is quite likely that he was just leading both Victor and Ethan straight towards the teleport tree, where Victor had his first memory in the TV show, his first flashback from the massacre that happened 40 years ago. Next to the teleport tree, Victor starts hearing dogs barking, and it kinda triggers his memory from this fateful morning when he gets out of the cellar and he sees a lot of dead bodies. The Star Magic Hotel is still there, the sign is still there, a lot of dead people, and the boy in white with the dog basically inviting Victor to play with him on the merry-go-round again, which is kind of important in this TV show, as you can see. And this whole demeanor that he has, the boy in white, he's happy, he's smiling, he's joining, he's gesturing, it's almost like he's enjoying this moment. You kind of think that I'm starting to lead you to the conclusion that the boy in white is one of the bad guys. But what's interesting is that the dogs, they were not actually barking just in Victor's imagination or through the teleport tree. There were actually two dogs that were trying to stop both Tabitha and Jim from finding Ethan, which is kind of weird. Dogs are usually helping here. They help many times Boyd to find different locations. We're going to discuss it in a little bit, and it looks like they are companions of the boy in white. We have seen them together right now next to the teleport tree, and as I told you, in Victor's imagination, they were there together and the dog was following the boy in white. So it's not like confirmed that the boy in white and the dogs are working together, but it's really heavily implied through the TV show. And it's also very interesting that the drawing of this dog is something that we see every episode in the intro. And in the intro there is a couple that is standing right next to this dog, which is kind of confirmed in episode 8 season 1 when Boyd is finding the dog. You know, this is the flashback of Boyd remembering how his wife was killed, and he was actually going through the forest looking for more resources, and suddenly he encountered this dog, the same dog, and he's saying, "You probably belong to somebody."
Belong to someone.
Now it is possible that this is a very big stretch. Most likely it is. But it's from, so there is no theory crazy enough for me to actually call it crazy. Everything can be logical and everything can be real if the evidence are pointed that way. And when I was rewatching this moment with Boyd talking to the dog was always looking back, like something was calling him. Reminds you of some conversation that we have seen lately. I obviously talking about Jim and Ethan. He was sitting there and always looking back, like somebody was actually talking to him, or like he was listening to something. Maybe both the dogs and Jim are actually listening to the same entity, which I assume is the boy in white. Now, even though the connection between the dogs and the boy in white is almost obvious, we don't see the dogs helping anybody else but Boyd, right? They are helping Boyd to find the talisman. Because of the dog, he got lost and he was able to find the talismans. In season 2, when he gets out of Martin's chamber, waiting for him is the dog to actually take him back to the settlement. And in the end of season 2, when he actually breaks the music box, a dog is waiting for him once again. But this is something that we didn't get any answer about the situation. Like, he sees the dog and that's it. Season is over. And the next time we see Boyd, it's been 3 days since the last he actually destroyed the music box. So what was the dog doing there? Is it something that the creators are still keeping for future episodes? Something to reveal to us? Because we know Boyd is not very good at sharing and with everybody else. So maybe there's something, maybe they were just, you know what, there was just a dog and that's it. But so far it looks a lot like dogs are trying to help. But especially we can see that help in episode 7 of season 1 when the boy Dwight is appearing to Victor and is helping him to save Julie in the teleport tree. He's telling him to follow him, and as soon as Julie enters the teleport tree, she is in the cellar where Jade has his vision, and this is where she spends the night and stays safe. But Victor is actually going to a different place, a different location. In the last episode of season 1, we get a very interesting confirmation about the boy in white. He knows how the story is supposed to unfold. We know this about the man in yellow. It was confirmed in episode 1 of season 4. When he keeps talking about his favorite part of the story, this is his favorite part of the story, he knows what's about to happen, even though he is one of the players who's actually helping the story to unfold the way it's supposed to unfold. So we can confidently say that the boy in white is at least as powerful as the man in yellow or close to it, because when Victor actually entered the teleport tree in episode 7, he went to the caves where monsters are hiding, and he got a lot of help from the boy in white, who told him exactly how to navigate those caves to stay safe, which once again implies that he is very powerful, but most important, he told them that Tabitha will arrive soon.
Boy in white? He said that you would come, that I should wait. I can get us out. The boy in white, he showed me the way. I went through the tree, then I was here. He told me to wait for you. He showed me where to hide.
So it means that the boy in white knew that if Tabitha keeps digging that hole, eventually she's gonna fall under the ground and the house is gonna collapse, and she's gonna need somebody to lead her through the caves, which in my opinion was mostly for her to see the spirits of the Ankui children and create this connection to find those triggers that will allow Tabitha to remember. We are seeing, especially in this cycle of the story, that the boy in white is trying not to give information too much. He is trying to lead our heroes to their own conclusion. Hopefully they will be the right ones, because as we know, knowledge comes with a cost. So I assume in previous cycles, Boy in White tried to tell people how they're supposed to act, so the story will unfold in a different way. He's obviously working against the man in yellow, who wants the story to unfold in a certain way, and the Boy in White tries to change the story for once. Because in my opinion, changing the story will actually break the curse. If the story is not repeating itself, it means the story is finally over, and the spirits of the Ankui children can actually pass on to the next world, thus destroying the curse and destroying this whole pocket dimension between two worlds, the real one and the spiritual one. Now, in the last episode of season 1, there is also a very interesting moment with the boy in white, when Sarah and Boyd, who were kidnapped by some weird force that dragged them to the spider nest, and then they have seen the lighthouse, which looks very different from the one that Tabitha is actually visiting in the end of season 2. This one is somewhere on the ground and is being surrounded by trees, and the one that Sarah and Boyd are looking at is actually standing on some kind of a mountain. But as soon as they're feeling desperate and Boyd is about to give up on his journey and on his quest, the boy in white is appearing and he's telepathically saying to Sarah that they need to go to the tree. This is the only time we are seeing the boy in white actually talking to somebody without using his mouth. So once again it confirms that Sarah has one of the strongest sensitivities to this place. She can feel a lot of the things that others can't feel or can't hear. She's hearing the boy in white, she's hearing the voices that were laughing at Boyd, blah 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 blah, and luckily this is different voices, but the boy in white sending both of them once again to the teleport tree. And this connection between the boy in white and teleport trees kind of tells me that he's either controlling him or he has some connections to them. I mean, we've seen him just disappear in thin air, and we also seen him actually go into the teleport tree, getting inside. We didn't see it, but it was once again implied in episode 4, when Victor and Ethan were following him, and right next to the teleport tree, they're like, where did he go? Well, he obviously went to the teleport tree. So there is this big connection between the boy in white and the teleport trees, and looks like also the lighthouse. Now Boyd and Sarah next to the lighthouse, and once again, in the end of season 2, and we're gonna get to it, he will Karate Kid Tabitha out of the lighthouse. But this moment with Boyd and Sarah once again casting some doubts whether he is one of the good guys or not really. Because yeah, Sarah actually comes back to the church, to the cellar in the church, and Boyd is actually going to Martin's chamber, where he's almost dying, unless of course, you know, Julie is learning how to story work and basically saving him, and then he gets the worms and he goes to the town and he gives the worms to Julie, and then she goes to this place, presumably from this experience actually getting her story walking powers and saving Boyd, but thus creating one of those paradoxes, the time loop paradox. Once again, we already know that the boy in white knows how the story is supposed to unfold, and he probably knew from his connection to the teleport trees that Boyd will eventually end up in a very dangerous place that can destroy this whole town. So was it his intention to actually bring the cicadas back to the town? Is it just some suffering that our heroes need to go through to get closer to answers? I don't know, but once again, it kinda casts some doubts whether he's one of the good guys. The boy in white also knows a lot about this place. He is saying to Sarah that They were right. Nathan was right. If you make this place angry, it will retaliate. It will do whatever it can to make you stay on the track, to make you stay on the storyline. They're not saying it in exact those words, but we can assume it already from everything else that we know about this place. So the boy in white connected to the lighthouse, connected to the trees, and knows a lot about this story, how it's supposed to unfold.
So this little boy, that's one of the voices you hear.
Oh, this was different. I think he's trapped here like us, that he wants to help, but he's not sure how.
And Sarah is actually saying that she felt that he is trapped here in this place. Even though we saw him in the beginning of season 3 actually coming to Tabitha in a vision of some sort. But still, as I told you, Sarah has a special connection to this place. She understands or feels way more than everybody else. And if she's saying that he is trapped and he wants to get out and he wants to help, I would listen to her. I would at least take this into consideration. So yeah, maybe the boy in white is also trapped, but sometimes he can like send some of his avatars or something like this to the outside world just for a short period of time or something like this. Of course he wants to escape this, and the only way to escape this place is to save the Ankui children, according to him, thus breaking the curse, probably. Now if the boy in white knew exactly what's gonna happen to Boyd with the cicadas and everything, and Marielle and Randall suffering and everything is about to go to shit, so it's kind of similar to simultaneously giving them a disease and a cure. Because we discover, at some point of the TV show, episode 9 actually, season 2, that Elgin had a dream just before he arrived to Fromville.
There was this boy, all dressed in white, and he kept repeating the same phrase.
Here they come for free unless you stop the melody. And it reminded Bhakta about the nursery rhyme that her grandma was singing to her, and it eventually helped Boy realize how to stop this new thing, this new curse, the ballerina music, whatever, the cicadas, to break the music box, and this is how you actually free everybody else. So maybe the boy in white knew that the cicadas and the worms have to go outside of Martin's body. They have to get out, they have to be free at some point. This is unescapable. And he also helped our heroes to have a knowledge and have an information to stop this, hoping that they actually will. I think so. Let me know what you think in the comments. Now this is something that I already mentioned, but since it's a recap, let's say it again. In the conversation between Sarah and Boyd, when they were trying to realize and trying to understand how to help Julie, Marielle, and Randall, they were talking about the boy in white, and Sarah told him that she felt like he was trying to help, and she's saying that he's probably not really a boy. And I think it's kinda obvious, right? Even though I told you everything about the drawing, but the boy in white, the way he behaves, the way he grows, the way he changes, implies that he, at least now, is definitely not a human anymore. I think he's actually a spirit of some sort, but we'll get to that. Now we actually have Tabitha going up the lighthouse and being kicked from it by the boy in white. And after this moment, everybody started to think that the boy in white is actually not so good because, you know, kicking people from a very high building is not something that usually the good guys do in movies. But we can see that he's apologizing, sincerely apologizing and saying that this is the only way.
I'm sorry, I really am. This is the only way.
Why is this the only way? Because obviously Tabitha needs to go into outside world, see Miranda's drawings, realize at some point that they are connected, and she is a reincarnation of the original Prime Tabitha. I don't know how to call her, like the first mother in this story, and the only way, once again, to stop the curse is to save the Ankui children. So we can actually assume that he has some sort of a plan. I mean, you wait for Tabitha to fall to the caves, and then you send Victor there to wait for her, and then you go through the caves, eventually seeing the spirits of Ankui children. Ankui children, realizing that this is the reincarnation of their mother, start to hunt her, start to follow her, and she obviously looks for more answers. Who are they? Which eventually lead us to, you know, the conclusion that Ankui remember, and we were together with Jade and we were singing them lullabies. Now, in the beginning of season 3, there is this moment in the outside real world when Tabitha is walking the street and she suddenly sees the boy in white. Now, I was not entirely convinced for the first time whether it's really him or it's just her hallucinating after being 3 days in a coma, which can obviously happen. But, you know, him waving the same way he usually waves, and even in the shop when she's actually going to talk to him, we can see that she's actually looking at the boy dressed in the same clothing as the boy in white, but when the boy actually turns toward her, we can see that he has different clothing. So I think that was real vision, even though you can kill me right now, I have no idea what was the point of this. Like, he led her to the store, which eventually led to nothing. Only the church helped her to actually discover who is Henry. So whatever this was, maybe just a hint like you should look and follow, you're on a quest and you need to get some answers. The only thing that comes to mind. Other than that, I have no idea what was the point of this vision. And we come back to the boy in white already close to the end of season 3. Episode 8, Victor's finally remembering that Christopher was not talking to Jasper, to this doll, which I, by the way, still don't know how they are connected, since, the memory of Jasper somehow triggered all those memories, so there's supposed to be some kind of a connection between Jasper and Boy in White, but I'll guess we'll have to wait and see. And this is the moment when Victor remembers that Christopher was talking to Boy in White, and Boy in White was telling him what? Not information, but secrets. Secrets. This is very important.
Jasper was telling secrets.
And the reason why it's important because, as I told you already, knowledge comes with a cost. And probably the bigger knowledge, the more, secret it is, the higher the cost. We lost everybody in this place eventually because the boy in white was revealing too much. So the boy in white was telling Christopher that everything started with the children. They were born in the dark, they were murdered in the dark, somebody who loved them told them a story, the story gave them hope, they poured this hope into roots of the tree, and those roots became a tree, a teleport tree. So yeah, in order for you to save the children, you need to understand the beginning, because the beginning is the answer to the end. The next time we see the boy in white is the next episode. He's coming to Victor that is trying to cut off this damn teleport tree, and he's stopping him. Because once again, there is a very clear connection between the boy in white and teleport trees. This is his domain. I don't think that the man in yellow will ever have any guts to actually go inside of the teleport tree. I think they're working more for the boy in white, or he's working for them, whatever comes first.
Why won't you help us?
Because I tried with Christopher. I think you need to learn for yourselves.
And he's saying to Victor that he tried to help. He tried to help with Christopher, but Christopher didn't believe him, which led to Miranda's death, as we know. So right now he realized that they need to come to answers, to come to conclusions by themselves. So he is hinting, he is helping, but he's not telling them exactly what to do. This is not a way to escape this place. They need to get to answers by themselves, because otherwise this place will have a retaliation against their actions. And this conversation between Victor and the boy in white is also important because we get a confirmation that it's not just the actor growing up. It's actually in the lore of this place for the boy in white to grow so fast.
You look different now.
So do you.
All those years you look the same. Why are you changing now?
Everything's changing now.
But in everything I told you so far, there is a very big but.
I like big butts and I cannot lie.
If the boy in white is actually controlling the teleport trees, how come he doesn't know in the last episode what's gonna happen with Tabitha if she's actually gonna enter?
I don't think so.
When she's asking him, like, if I'm gonna go to the lighthouse, he's saying, I don't think so. Which means he knows, but he's not exactly confident where he's gonna take Tabitha this time. So he is not 100% controlling it, but he probably knows how to use it. So why is he changing? Well, we get it. Everything is changing. The seasons are changing fast. Fatima is giving birth to Smiley in just a couple of days. She's going from a flat stomach to actually giving birth to a grown-up dude who can eat other people. So the time kind of moves fast here, even though we know that it moves in the same pace as in the real world. Like, it's been 3 days and it's been 3 days, both for the people in Fromville and for the people in real world. Boyd is saying it's been 3 days and Tabitha was in a coma for 3 days. But still, we see the changes here are happening drastically. And my theory is that in this place, it's kind of similar to two time streams, like two flows of times that are not exactly correlating with each other. There is just the regular stream of time. It's been a day, it's been another day, it's been a third day. But there is also a timeline that is connected to the story. If the story didn't start, Nothing is happening. The boy in white remains the same. As Victor said, you were the same, you were not changing for so many years.
All those years you look the same. Why are you changing now?
But as soon as the story starts with two cars arriving, suddenly the time is moving very fast. Maybe because the original story was taking place for a very long time, and here it's kind of got danced, and everything happens in just a month and a half. And this is why we are seeing seasons changing so fast, and we're seeing the boy in white growing weirdly, even though he's some kind of a spirit and he's obviously not just a human being. So everything changes fast here, and it kind of reminds me a lot of video game logic. Like if you're not playing the game and it's just on your computer or on your TV, things will change, people will walk, the computer programs that look like human beings, they will walk, they even talk to each other, they even work. If it's really programmed very well, if it's like Red Dead Redemption 2, some of them will actually have real jobs. But as soon as you, the player, don't start the story, don't start to interact with the story, nothing's gonna change drastically. The story is not gonna change. People are not gonna get older. Seasons are not gonna change. The only thing that can happen is probably day is gonna switch with the night and night is gonna switch the day. That's it. But as soon as you start playing and you do some action, you will see some cutscene, and maybe, a couple of months passed and now it's winter and now everybody looks different. And it's kind of very similar to what is happening with Victor. He was there for 40 years. Nothing is changing. Trees are not moving, the same season always, and suddenly the two cars arrived, and now it's winter, and now it's summer again, and the boy in white changes drastically. Now obviously I don't think it's a simulation and it's not a video game, I just think that the story rules of this place a little bit similar to the story rules of video game. And if you think of it through some kind of a child imagination, some kind of fantasy, like if I'm holding a book, the characters in the book are living there, sort of, but if I'm not starting to read the book, it's not changing. I am the one who's moving the story forward. And we have our heroes, the two cars, the people in those two cars, Jade and Tabitha, are the ones who are actually starting the story and hopefully will be able to finish it. Maybe even Ethan, Victor and Boyd and everybody else. And to answer the question whether he's there to help or to hurt them, I think it's more the first. But he's not just some knight in shining armor on a white horse or something like this. He is there because he has his selfish reasons. He wants to escape this place. He wants to be free of this place. He is trapped there, and he just have similar goals with our heroes. He wants them to break the curse. He even probably feels for a lot of them. He's saying to Victor, I am your friend, and I do kind of believe him here.
You're supposed to be my friend.
I am your friend.
But since he's not a human being, probably, most likely even, he probably don't have the same moral standards or moral compasses as a human being, so maybe he will be able to do some things that we will interpret as villain things, like kicking Tabitha out of the lighthouse or sending Boyd to what could possibly be his death. He is just thinking for the bigger goal: break the curse, escape this place, be free. Now, taking into consideration everything we've been talking about so far, I mean, is he one of the kids? I think not, I already said so. Is he one of the Nephilim like we discussed with Darren Matero in the live stream? Possible, but honestly I'm not that good with Bible topic to actually bring extra value to this conversation. But my, intuition based on everything I have seen so far kind of lets me think that he is an embodiment of something that the Ankui children have sacrificed. There is a very interesting moment for me, because we know that those drawings on the wall that Victor showed Tabitha in the end of season 1, they probably somehow portraying the first story, right? It kind of implied that it is. We are seeing people arriving in boats, we are seeing the sacrifice, we are seeing the lighthouse, the moon and the sun, we are seeing some kind of a couple, which is probably Tabitha and Jade, we are seeing the crows, we are seeing the small hut with the talismans. Everything is there. Power-wise, even this weird tentacled monster, or it's just a visualization of how people became those monsters eventually. As we have seen, Smiley was very similar in his second birth to what is drawn on those caves, but the only thing that is missing there is the boy in white. So it kind of makes me think that he came after the sacrifice, that he was not there before the Ankui children were actually killed. And if they were able to pour their hope into the roots of the tree, and it was so powerful that it created this whole system with, the top side and the bottom side, and the roots are connected, and there are teleport trees, and because of those trees that move and they get closer and sometimes more far away from you, as Victor told us, this is an absolutely incredible, intricate system that was created, as we know, just from Ankui's children hope when they were killed on those stones. But there is also something that is very significant that was also sacrificed on those stones, and it's obviously their innocence. And as soon as we talk about innocence, the thing that comes to our mind is white clothes. Children in white clothes, it's been a symbol of innocence for centuries in literature, in movies, in theater. This is just, pure white clothing, little children, little boys or little girls wearing white. It's always a symbol of innocence, and they were betrayed by somebody who they trusted. Their parents, their guardians, I don't know who, but they trusted those peoples and they felt betrayed. And the betrayal is what kills innocence very fast in children. So I think this is what manifested this spirit that we call the boy in white, and it's trapped there with the Ankui children, not being able to go to the next world or whatever it is, or to the Lake of Tears, you call it whatever you want to call it, and this is why it's doing whatever it can to help our heroes to break the curse. Now, it's not something that I'm gonna sign on it with my blood and say I'm gonna die on this hill, this is exactly what it is. But this is the most logical explanation that comes to my mind. So right now, this is your time already. Go to the comments and let me know, do you agree with me? Do you want to tell me your version? Do you want to prove me wrong or prove me right? I would love to read your comments. And I want to thank everybody who supports me on Patreon, YouTube. Your financial help is what makes this channel possible. I also have a very cool merch. It's from Inspired, so I think a lot of you will like it. You're more than welcome to check my store. And as usual, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, because this is my biggest goal. I want you to watch my videos and enjoy them. If you don't like them, please let me know how I can improve. If you do, thank you so much, and everything else, likes, schmikes, subscribes, Patreon and YouTube members, it's all a very nice, a very appreciated, but still bonus. I'm gonna see you on the next one. Meanwhile, bye!